Welcome to Up All Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. Today's the fourth variety challenge, hosted by my friends Sarah of Jujube DIY and Lisa of Our Grey House. Our guest host is Emily of Farm Charm Chic. This month's theme is fall, Thanksgiving, so I'm making cutie pie tiered tray decor. Let's get into it. I just want to show you real quick. I've cut my pie shapes from 3/4 inch plywood with my scroll saw, and I've sanded the edges. DIY number 1 is this cute crusty pie. Let's jump in with base coating the tall crusty pie with Ceramcoat maple sugar tan. This pie can be any flavor that is your favorite. You choose, because we're only going to see the crust. I paint the edges, and I paint the back too because I want this to be double-sided. The pie pan will get 2 coats of Americana spiced pumpkin. Out comes the Faux art floating medium so we can have some fun shading this bear. I'll just go over the process really quickly. I dip my brush into the floating medium and I work it into the bristles. I side load with Americana honey brown for the first layer of shading. I'll stroke the brush on my plate to load the paint into the bristles. And with the paint corner of my brush to the edge, I'll shade right along the crusty part of the pie, giving it a lovely golden baked look. I'm accentuating the bumps of the pie by extending my stroke toward the middle of the pie to give the illusion of chunks of fruit beneath the crust, and to add fancy flutes to the pie rim. You know what I mean? That fluted edge every lovely pie has. And I'll repeat everything I do on this side, on the flip side too. My first shading layer on the pan is Americana burnt orange. I shade under the crust, then I'll do the sides and bottom before we add our second layers of shading. Here I'm just adding those wee slits at the top of the pie with honey brown, just 3 short strokes on both sides. For my second layer of shading to the crust, I'm using raw sienna. Same deal, shading along where I laid the honey brown shade and just following that line around, reinforcing the golden baked tone. Just adding in that top part of the crust, same way. I'm sure that I've mentioned previously that I decorate with orange, russet, and teal tones for Thanksgiving. So shading layer number 2 will be teal mint on the pie pan. Since I like that retro atomic vibe, I'm going to outline this pastry with, you guessed it, Hippo Gray. Shout out to Terry. Still using the Hippo Gray, my friend. I'm compelled. I'm not doing a full-on outline, just loose strokes. I want to kind of mimic the outlining you see in mid-century illustrations. You know, where the lines and colors are slightly askew. That's what I'm going for. And now that it's finished, I'll spray it with clear matte sealer. And it's done. Quick and easy. DIY number 2 is this cute pumpkin pie. I paint the filling with 2 coats of Americana spiced pumpkin, both sides, as this is a double-sided piece also. The whipped cream is white, of course. 2 layers. And I'm going to make this part whipped cream too. Stuck my thumb in it. I do it all the time. This pie pan will get 2 coats of teal mint. The pie filling's first shading is with burnt orange. And since that area is small, I'll just give it more of a highlight with bittersweet orange. Ceramco Tropic Bay Blue to float in the details of the swirly whipped cream. And then I'm going to come in with a layer of bittersweet orange. I'm using Americana Blue Grass Green to shade the pan. I love this color. It's so rich. And I'll follow that with spiced pumpkin and then a loose outline. I love painting little pieces like this. It reminds me of something you'd see in a kid's book. And as always, once this is finished, it will get spray sealed too. So cute. I love this one. So DIY 3 is pie slices in this cute beaded garden. I cut a variety of sizes for my pie wedges. They'll all get painted the same way. The crust will be maple sugar and the filling is spiced pumpkin. It would probably be nice if you could see what I'm doing, but I'm sure you get the idea. As always, 2 coats of each. On each wedge, the filling is first shaded with burnt orange, and then terracotta, and I'll highlight it with bittersweet orange. As always, my paint supply will be listed in the description box. I make sure to do the sides too, because some of these pumpkin wedges will be leaning on their sides when I display them. The crust is only getting 1 layer of shading, and that's with raw sienna. Because I like that whimsical touch, I'm pulling in a wee bit of teal mint. I know this isn't how everyone rolls, but it's what I like to do. I keep it subtle and feathery. and the hippo gray outline, giving the crust a wee squiggle. For the whipped cream, I put modeling paste into a pastry bag, and I'll squeeze a dollop onto my wedges. I like to twist the bag to give the dollop a point at the top. Most people use spackle for the whipped cream, but I prefer the modeling paste. It's just a personal preference. Either works. I think I prefer the modeling paste because it's pure white, so I don't have to mix any paint to it, where with the spackle I would. And lately, when I've used the spackle, I haven't been able to get the consistency. It seems runny, so modeling paste it is. To make the bead garland, I paint a variety of beads alternating my color palette, and I'm adding some wooden spools too, but I'll leave them raw. And I'll add some hippo stripes and dots to the white beads to pull that color in. I'm not being overly fussy with the lines. If they're wonky, that's fine. I don't mind. And once all my beads are painted and dried, I thread them onto a length of orange and white baker string. To make the tassel, I wrap the baker string around my fingers. I don't know, probably 20-30 times. I'm not really sure. I pass the garland string through the opening, and I tie it off close to the end bead. I tie another piece of string about an inch from the top of the tassel to make that tassel bump. And I cut through the loop to make the fringe. And I'll trim it to even it off. For the other end of the garland, I've added an eye hook to a small pie slice to attach it. But before I do that, I want to add some shading to that whipped cream. And just like with the other whipped cream, I'm using Tropic Bay Blue to do the shading. I just pull it up through the creases in the cream. It's subtle, but I wanted to do it for consistency, and I really like the way it looks. It gives an extra touch of whimsy. And when that's done, I'll attach it to the garland. And this is just, a simple knot. No big deal. I don't really do a whole lot of beaded garlands, but I think this turned out really cute. I like it. I really like these wooden pie slices too. They're very durable. And look how cute that bead garland turned out. DIY number 4 is this quick, easy little dessert sign. I painted a 5x6 wood plaque that I got from the Dollar Tree. I painted it white on the front and bluegrass green on the back. And I've printed off this cute little sign I made in Photoshop onto just regular old printer paper, which I'll Mod Podge onto the black. I did spray the image with hairspray to keep the ink from bleeding when I Mod Podge over it, but for some reason, you'll see the orange ink does smear a bit. I usually spray my images with sealer, but the hairspray was right there. And I've used it before successfully, so I don't know what's up with that. And I'm just giving the plaque a nice healthy coat of Mod Podge. So I apply the image and roll over it with my brayer to make sure there's good contact, and then I'll add my top coat. Aha, yes, then I see the smear. It's okay though, it's really not that bad. I fill in any white that's showing around the edges with bluegrass green. I use wood glue and a dab of hot glue to attach a bit of a square dowel to the back as a stand. And that's it. How cute and how quick and easy. You can't beat that. DIY number 5 is a faux vintage pie pan. I'm using a Dollar Tree bottle cap to mimic a vintage pie tin, and I removed the twine hanger. I designed this retro-inspired pumpkin pie recipe in Photoshop. This I printed onto cardstock, and I cut it out. I'm going to use glue dots to attach it to the bottle cap. This way, I can remove it after Thanksgiving and reuse it for Christmas. And I just applied the glue dots as close as I could get to the edge of this circle. Then I'm just going to pop that right into the center. You could always add other doodads to the center of this, like little pumpkins or other little elements, but where it's going to sit on my tiered tray, you're not really going to see the bottom of it, so I'm keeping it plain like this. What I am going to do though is I'm going to dry brush the edges with bluegrass green just to add a little more interest. This is just regular old acrylic paint, so it'll wash right off with a little water, no worries. And that's it. So cute and so easy, and it costs $1.25 to make. I'm going to zoom in here so you can get a look at the picture of the lady baking the pie. Isn't she cute? Yeah, so there's my little retro Thanksgiving display. I'll be assembling these on my tier tray, but right now it's all decked out for Halloween and I didn't want to mess with it. So I hope you like it. It's probably not your typical Thanksgiving display, but I have a lot of my mom's old girly candles. They're little pilgrims and a turkey. And I have a couple of those honeycomb turkeys, you know, the crepe paper type things that you open up and snap together in the back. So this stuff will go nicely with them. Okay, I'd like to thank Lisa and Sarah for hosting and Emily for co-hosting. Be sure to check out their channels. I've linked them below. Also be sure to check out the talent on the playlist. This monthly collab is always full of great tips, adorable projects, and the sweetest creators. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.